Hey guys, and welcome back to a brand new redstone video. So in this redstone video I'm gonna be showing you farms for these 5 items, so warped fungus, twisting vines, crimson fungus, and crimson roots, including warped roots. No, they're 5. Yeah, not 4. So it also depends on what type of Nylium which you put in, but I'll explain that a little bit later. So yeah, this is basically for all vegetation. If you're wondering why you need certain things, so like you can for example grow trees, which are or fungi actually, but they also can be used as wood. Twisting vines are pretty good for vertical travel, or even I think they even work descending. Like you can even descend with these guys. Crimson fungi are pretty cool, can also generate, but if you something to keep in mind, if you have warped Nylium, you're gonna have much less crimson fungi, and if you have crimson Nylium, then gonna have much less warped fungus. This is a test for 5 minutes, so if you built this farm in your survival world, you should expect around this many items in 5 minutes. So which actually tallies up to 35,000 items per hour, which is pretty insane. So to demonstrate how this farm works, I'll click this button, and as you can see, everything working perfectly fine. Then water should come over here and flush everything. There can be slight flaws, some items can fall down, as you can see, but it's basically 99% lossless, maybe a bit more, but most of the items will be in the system and not lost. So something else that you need for this farm is bone meal. You need a bone meal in this dispenser that I'll show you. In this dispenser you'll need bone meal, and if we look on the other one, you will need also these items for the farm. I put 2 chests, but you can actually also use many other things. So what I'm gonna do right now is collect the NBT data of that chest. Hopefully bring it over there. So if you actually want to see without the borders, that's how the farm looks like. Not much different. Yeah, I just built it once again there. And then here is the space that you need. So you have a 13 block wide, I guess, yeah, wide this way, and then 14 blocks this way. So yeah, that's how much space you need to reserve. It's almost perfect. Actually, wait, why do I have a button here? I don't know. Alright, let me just ignore that. So here's our NBT data chest. Let me just check. Yeah, it has NBT data. So this is all the items you need. You can take a screenshot if you want to build this. And now let's break it. So what I want to do first, let me organize my inventory and I'll be right back. Alright, so first thing which I would do is go you don't necessarily need to go several blocks up, but there's also redstone under the farm, so for the purpose of this demonstration I'll build a couple blocks out. So 1 block from the place you reserved, you place a block, and even though it goes a little bit out, you can place a button. That's what's gonna power and depower the farm. And then underneath here you can have just a redstone dust on top of some kind of block, a sticky piston right there, and a new target block right there, which is pretty useful in this scenario. And then we have a repeater running out. So just to demonstrate what happens is that there's a 1 tick pulse which goes through the repeater. So yeah, that's all I wanted to show. So now let's build the rest of the T flip-flop. So we have a sticky piston block under this as well, and we also need a redstone torch. And let me actually get the chest back. So yeah, that's a T flip-flop. Just one more thing which I will do, we'll get the output in place right here, and then we'll have a sticky piston right over there. So let's get our observers, because they're gonna have an observer clock, which are gonna which is what we're gonna be using to how to explain, basically to use this farm, I guess. So to push the piston so all the blocks break. That's the useful part. Then we have 2 observers like this. Make sure it's in diagonal like this, and then a repeater, 3 ticks. That's very important. So just click on it twice, and then you have a block out like this above it, and then for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, you have a wiring, so redstone wiring on top of all 6 of these blocks. Yeah, so it's 6 blocks wide right there. Something else that I can tell you right now this is where our pistons will go. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 pistons, and as well as our Nylium. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So it's a 6x6 platform for Nylium. Technically, you could have it 6x5, but I have it 6x6 just in case. I mean, just to be safe, I think in my testing I saw that 6x6 was better. Actually, I have to go right here. So this is where the rest of our pistons go. So we have 1 block gap between the Nylium and the pistons, and then we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6 pistons right there. So that's all correct. Now, not quite on the end of the piston, but a couple blocks back on the 3rd block right here, you should have your chests, which you could have right there. It's not quite self-sustaining with a composter. If you try to compost the rest of the roots, you can do that, like an item sorter. You can actually look into those. I might leave some in the description, some item sorters and stuff like that. So now here you have a 3x8 of hoppers. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And now we do that for the rest of these hoppers. There we go. So yeah, those are the hoppers in place. We have the shifting floor over here. And so this is actually all the piston wiring. So this is not quite all the piston wiring, but all the piston wiring on this side. Now what you'll need here is some torches. So a torch that goes right there, and then a block down like that, and then some wiring right here, and then several blocks out. So before you actually place in the last block, you actually need your last regular piston like this. It's used because of bud powering. These pistons actually get bud powered at one point, so that's why this is pretty useful. The block after the last Nylium, so the block goes right here, and then let me just remove that. So we have redstone that's running across all over here, repeater, then block, and then wiring, so redstone, and then all the rest of these also get dust on top of them. So as you can see, now all of these are powered, and I'll switch back and forth when the farm is active. Right now the farm is off, so that's why this is not working. So let me grab the rest of the terracotta, because we're gonna build the second circuit of this farm. So we go several blocks out in this direction. You have redstone dust right here, and then it goes up right there. So as you can see, these will actually connect. So to deconnect them, put some kind of block on top of the terracotta. So now that this is all functioning correctly, you can place a block in right there, and then a repeater just on one tick. So yeah, like this, up, all fine. So this is where we're building our hopper clock. So to build the rest of our hopper clock, you will need some target blocks. You could just place some, for example, like this. There you go, you have your target block in place. You'll actually need redstone dust right there. And let's place one more block, which is gonna be for our comparator. So I think before we place our rest of our comparators, we'll place our 2 hoppers needed for the hopper clock. There we go, that's how 2 hoppers should be facing each other. That's how they should look like. And in addition to that, you have sticky pistons like this, and then you have, actually wait, I'll need I'll need comparators in a second. So you have extended piston right there. This is when the farm is off, that's how it should be. And now let me just go like this. You have another sticky piston, right, like no gap this time. So that's how it meant to be. And now what you do is you go down like that, and you have comparator, another comparator, and then another block, redstone dust, and another target block. So this is all correct. This is a regular hopper clock. How you should be doing this is actually 16 items in this hopper clock. In fact, right now we're not going to be doing anything because the farm is off, but when it's on, it's going to flush in and flush out the water. So now that we have this block, we can actually take an output from it, because this actually has a power of 1. So this will power this the repeater. As you can see, it says powered right here, which and says true. I mean, you can also see that it's bright red on the other hand. So let's take our dispensers, place in dispenser like this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. There you go. And then on top of all these dispensers, we have wiring, except for the last one. Make sure the last one doesn't have any redstone dust on top of it. So that's basically the second circuit all done and dusted. So we'll have a third circuit right now in place. So what you need for that is take an output from the bottom, and you have 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3 like this. And now you can go down like so. 1, 2, 3. So that's all correct. Now you have to break this block, sticky piston, some kind of regular block over here, so any regular block, and then you have repeater, sticky piston, terracotta, and redstone torch right there. So it gets covered when the sticky piston places it. So that's all good. And now what you do is have redstone dust right here, sticky piston right like this. And now let's get the rest of our observers. So the last two observers, one goes in like this. In fact, before you place in the very last observer, you'll have to place in the dispenser like this, because otherwise it can break the farm if you don't do it like this. So now the second observer goes in place. There we go. And you will need to fill in this dispenser with bone meal once we're done. So what you have is actually redstone dust right there, and actually a repeater going into the dispenser, which is gonna have bone meal actually. So yeah, this is actually the full farm. So let me fill it in with bone meal and water, and hopefully it works. If not, I'll just do some small fixing. So right before I will do that, actually place in some blocks on top of the pistons so the water flows in the correct direction. So on top of the pistons on both sides, on top of this redstone dust as well. This is make sure you shift click in redstone if you're playing on 1.16, because redstone has several changes. Okay, there we go. So that's where the water is gonna go, into those dispensers. And to be safe, I'd also place some terracotta like this. You could go the whole way of placing terracotta, but it's not 100% necessary. I guess you can also place one block right there. That's also pretty useful. Let's look into the dispenser, place in all the bone meal, and this farm should be working 100% fine. Let's see what happens when we press the button. Alright, looks like everything is functional. Let me go into flying mode. Yes, there we go. So as you can see, it gets pushed, everything fine, and all goes into this chest right here. So you'll need a constant supply of bone meal, but in addition to that, you shouldn't use this farm for that long, because A, it causes lag. Secondly, this can overload the hoppers, and there might be a bunch of items on the floor if you use for too long. But you can also use a different, maybe quicker collection system, which allows you to leave the farm on for a longer period of time. So as you can see, everything's functioning basically perfectly. So yeah, as I said before, there's gonna be some things that fall out, but you can actually almost prevent that by having some blocks where the pistons are. So as you can see, there's an extended piston right there. Some items can flow through that. So you have a block like blocks like that. You can actually have the same thing over here. So 2 blocks wide like this. Same thing for the other side. Just one thing to note for the other side: make sure not to place a block on top of this, as like your last percent of losses can go through this block. But make sure not to place one there, because that's where the T flip-flop is. So yep, just something to note. And now we have the same thing over here. Just place it all in, and yeah, basically as you can see, there's a bunch of things going into this chest already. So yeah, that's basically how you operate this farm. If you have any questions, leave them in the comments below. And that's it for this video, and see you guys in the next one. Bye. So guys, that's it for this video. If you enjoyed, please leave a like, And if you're excited to see any other redstone contraptions, leave them in the comments below. So yeah, that's it for this video. It's pre-recorded, so yeah, that's all I can say. Anyway, see ya.